My name is Brian Stack, and I have the honor of being the president of the Ireland-U.S. Council. It's a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure to welcome each and every one of you today to this special annual St. Patrick's Day lunch meeting of the Ireland-U.S. Council. This is, of course, a festive time as we celebrate one of the most important days on our calendar in this great city of New York. I am delighted that so many council members and distinguished guests could join us here. I've often thought that as St. Patrick's Day comes at the end of winter, it is also a rite of spring. After an appalling winter here in New York, can I ask you all a question? Are we glad St. Patrick's Day is here already, or what? Today, as I said, is a special day for us at the Ireland-U.S. Council. We are honoured to have the Grand Marshal of the 254th St. Patrick's Day Parade in the City of New York with us. Now, we will hear from him shortly, but at this time, can you please give a warm Irish welcome to His Eminence, Terence Cardinal Dolan. We have a splendid short entertainment program lined up, and we want you to enjoy this festive occasion. We also have a magnificent gift bag for you as you leave, with all sorts of goodies in there. Our plan today is to keep the podium proceedings to a minimum, but right now I'd like to make mention of just a couple of items. First, we in the Ireland-U.S. Council are proud of our student scholarship program. This will be the 32nd year in which we've operated this program, and we're grateful for the cooperation of Fordham University in participating with us in this event. We thank Council Member Dr. John Kezel, Dean of Students at Fordham University, and Mary Shelley from Fordham's Office of Prestigious Fellowships, who are here today. Also, last week, we said goodbye to a man who is a great friend of all in this room. Cardinal Edward Egan, whose funeral was held last week, will be greatly missed. May I ask that we all observe a moment of silence and reflection of his memory. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you that since this council's founding 53 years ago, Aer Lingus has been a consistent and important supporter of the Ireland-U.S. Council. It is always a great pleasure to have a representative from Aer Lingus to say a few words. So would you please welcome the Chief Revenue Officer of Aer Lingus, Mike Rudder.
Thank you, Brian. Your Eminence Cardinal Dolan, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be able to sponsor the Ireland-U.S. Council St. Patrick's Luncheon. Although a third-generation Irishman, as you can probably tell by my accent, that I'm actually from the West Britain chapter of the Irish diaspora, and as I learned recently by watching a production of Sting's Last Ship on Broadway, when a number of American and Irish actors tried to do my native accent, don't, so I won't. I'll stick to my own. Throughout the centuries, back to St. Patrick's time and beyond, the Irish have had to find innovative ways to travel the world, some through necessity and need, and some through choice. As a result, the Irish have become the guardians across the globe of successful integration, successful influence, and finding the smart way to travel. Let's call it the Irish travel gene. Throughout Aer Lingus's 80-year history, it has tried to live up to that unique Irish travel gene. Aer Lingus has served the US for the whole of the 53-year period that was just referenced by Brian, and we are grateful for the business that many of you in the room have given to us today. However, to be honest, we were aware from feedback that we needed to deliver more than the Irish charm, warmth and personality that our fantastic crew represented here in the room today deliver on every flight. We had to upgrade the experience to match that Irish hospitality with a fantastic product platform. And as you'll have seen from today's exhibition downstairs and the videos you just saw on the way in, we believe we have achieved that with the launch of the new Aer-Lingus Business Class. A 30 million investment spent with Island of Ireland companies that delivers 4 great rooms in the sky, a place to work, a 100% lie flat bed, a place to sleep, a restaurant in the sky delivered with our new Irish food provenance platform, and a chill zone to work its way through. That investment has also gone into 3 great rooms on the ground. Now when you arrive at Dublin, you'll be able to have a full arrival lounge experience with shower and the ability to get clothes pressed. There'll be a new business class check-in in Dublin, and I'm pleased to announce that at the end of March, we will open a brand new lounge in JFK Airport, which I know many of you will take the opportunity to use. And while doing all of that, we've sought not to compromise either on great price or on the ability to clear customs and border in Dublin. That's made Dublin the fastest growing transatlantic hub in Europe. So as we gather today, I hope you can accept and join with us, accept our invitation to try the new Aer-Lingus Business Class and celebrate the experience of the Irish travel gene reinvented for the 21st century. In 2015, we not only break new ground with the new Aer-Lingus Business Class, we also are putting Knock Airport on the transatlantic map as we enable the Archbishop and his diocese to enjoy a pilgrimage to Knock. It's a great, great honour to carry you and your pilgrims. To celebrate that, and as a gift to today's guest of honour, we have provided His Eminence Cardinal Timothy Dolan with a model of our new business class aircraft named in honour of this city's great cathedral and tomorrow's patron saint. And we'll get that to you at the end. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy a great lunch, a holy St. Patrick's Day, and a fantastic parade. Brian.
Thank you very much indeed, Mike. And now it's my distinct honor to welcome our guest speaker. Timothy Dolan's great-grandfather came, his name was Patrick, and he came from County Cavan. That is a great reason already for being here. But in 2009, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, not Terence, as I said earlier on, by the way, was appointed by Pope Benedict as the 10th Archbishop of New York. He previously served as Archbishop of Milwaukee from 2002 to 2009, preceded by service as an auxiliary bishop of St. Louis. We are very grateful to him for taking the time to be with us at this Ireland-U.S. Council lunch today. We congratulate him on serving as the Grand Marshal of tomorrow's 254th Annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome His Eminence Timothy Cardinal Dolan.
Brian, thank you for the gracious introduction, and thanks to all of you for your company. I've looked forward to this for a long time. I was, like many of you, invited to a luncheon today with Hillary Clinton. You knew that, right? But she was very gracious. She came to visit me this morning. We had a nice visit at St. Patrick's, and she told me she was going to another luncheon. And I said, well, Mrs. Clinton, maybe you'd just like to text a greeting to this one. She didn't laugh, all right? I'm glad you did. Thank you for remembering Cardinal Egan with a moment of silence. When I go, remember me with a moment of talking, will you? Because I'm not too well known for my silence. And I want to pay special tribute to the rector of St. Patrick's College at Maynooth. Where's Monsignor Conley? There he is. You know him, don't you? The great seminary in Ireland. Bravo. Glad you're here, Hugh. I've been asked to speak for 10 minutes, and I will honor that. I will not go beyond that. I got 4 simple points, everybody. The first point is this. I know I'm speaking to a group of people from Ireland, people from the United States, people from all over the country. I would propose to you on this eve of our feast day that the message of St. Patrick's is still tremendously pertinent and timely for the world today. If I understand from the scholars of Ireland, the message of St. Patrick was threefold that he preached on the hill of Slane and the hill of Tara. First of all, the Trinity, that there's one true God who's a loving, gracious God who holds us in divine providence, who holds us and loves us in the palm of his hand. Do we ever need to hear that today? Life's not arbitrary. Life's not cruel. Life has a purpose. There's number one, the Trinity. Number two, the Incarnation, that the second person of this blessed Trinity became one of us, and that means human life has dignity. That means the human person has immense dignity because the Son of God became one of us. And do we ever need to hear that message of the sanctity of human life and the dignity of the human person? And thirdly, Patrick preached the redemption. Jesus is our Savior on the cross, saying to the Irish people, look, he spilled his blood for us so that we don't have to spill one another's blood anymore. And do we ever need to hear that message today? An end of violence and an end of bloodshed. So there's my first invitation to you to consider that the message of St. Patrick, whose feast we celebrate tomorrow, is tremendously important, relevant, and timely today. Number two, I'd ask you, and I'm realistic enough to know that not everybody in this room is Catholic, not everybody in this room is Christian, not everybody in this room is a believer. But I would like to think that we who love Ireland and look to Ireland as our home know that faith has an extraordinarily important part to play in life and in the world today. When Patrick Dolan came from Cavan, when so many of your ancestors came from Ireland, they didn't have much of earthly value, but they had the pearl of great price, and that was their faith, and they've kept it. And so that's my second message, that faith is extraordinarily important today. Secondly, and I don't want to get political here, my dear friends, but you and I, as sons and daughters of Ireland today, need to be very sensitive about the immigrant, See, we were once immigrants, as Moses said to the people of Israel. Don't forget the immigrant, because you yourself were once one. You yourself were exiles. You yourself were refugees. Today, in the United States, we have to be extraordinarily sensitive about the rights of the immigrant, and that's not popular, sad to say. And finally, everybody, allow me just to give a commercial for our beloved St. Patrick's Cathedral. I was so happy to hear so many of you visitors say that you passed it today and saw the facade of St. Patrick literally glistening. It's radiant now, isn't it? It's sparkling. We're not done yet. We got a long way to go. But you're going to see an advertisement in the paper tomorrow thanking so many people for getting us over the 50-yard line. We're now at the $100 million level. We've still got $70 million to go, but we've made half of our goal, and we want to have this place sparkling for the visit of our Holy Father, Pope Francis, at the end of September, and I think we can do it. I'm looking out at many of you who have already been generous to the repair and restoration of St. Patrick. We need you. We had an exhibit at the Irish Consulate in the spring, last spring, and they had a number of postcards, and one of the postcards that they had discovered in the archives was dated 1879, and the postcard was of St. Patrick's Cathedral, and it was sent to a mother back in County Cork, and the young man said, "Dear Mom, this is where we go," with St. Patrick's on the front. This is where the Irish went. My predecessor, Archbishop John Hughes from County Tyrone, who built the cathedral, was frustrated in his plans to build. He was unable to raise money, and he finally gave up on the wealthy people, and he said, "This cathedral will be built by the pennies of Irish immigrants. And he was right when it opened up in 1878. It belongs to all of us. It belongs to all of New York, but it especially belongs to us who claim Ireland as our home. That's all I got to say, folks, those 4 points. I just want you to know how grateful I am to be with you, how much I cherish the honor of being the Grand Marshal, and how very much I look forward to being with you tomorrow. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
The Cardinal has just asked me to mention that there are many mayors of various towns and cities of Ireland who are here in New York, and he would be delighted if they would come to the Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. And in fact, the Cardinal will arrange for them to be seated with Mayor de Blasio. Just make contact with Monsignor James, and it'll be organized that when you arrive at the cathedral tomorrow, that you will be escorted to the proper seating. I think this is a great opportunity and one that we shouldn't miss. The only other reason I'm standing up here is to introduce somebody who really doesn't need any introduction, but I wanted to take a moment because Mike Gibbons is a former president of the Ireland-U.S. Council. Now he's the past president that has the nerve to wear the jacket he wears. But Mike is also chairman. He's also, by the way, a past Grand Marshal of the parade. He's also chairman of our winter meeting. And every year, he does such a wonderful job in using his contacts down in Florida to make sure that our members have a unique experience when they go to Palm Beach in the winter. I know it's tough for all of us to leave New York in February to go down to Palm Beach, but some of us do try and make the sacrifice to do that. So I'd now like to introduce Mike Gibbons, who's going to continue with the rest of the program.
Thank you very much, Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, His Eminence, I just actually came up from Palm Beach to be with you. So nice to see you without your shovels. In Florida, we actually watch the New York weather at night, and it's like watching a webcam of base camp at, what is that famous Mount Everest, watching New York. You say, what the hell, what is this? And it's New York. So that's pretty tough place. We have many people here who have been wonderful to the council over the years. And I'll just name a few. And so first, I want to start that we had the big St. Patrick's Day parade in Eastchester yesterday. And so we have with us the Grand Marshal of that parade, Joe Houlihan, and his aides, Pat Houlihan and Jim Coleman, over here. We also have with us Mary Hannafin, was a senior official in the Irish government, but she's a great friend to this council, and it's so nice to see you, Mary. Mary's over here. Yeah, there she is. We have the chairman of the board of the Irish Rep Theatre with us, Ellen McCourt. Ellen's right here. Welcome, Ellen. Thank you. And we have some breaking news. Tomorrow, the digital edition of the Irish Examiner will be launched by Patty McCarthy. Patty, congratulations. Where's Patty? Oh, he's back here. Okay, Patty. Brian mentioned Palm Beach, but every year, not every year, but most years, this gentleman gives us his yacht to take all the council members out on the Intercoastal. A Friday night at dinner, he does the whole thing. I think if we give him applause, maybe he'll do it again. So please welcome Bill Mahoney. Where's Bill? Bill is here. Bill, right here, right here, right here, right here. And we have a great supporter of this council we can never forget, who has always been very helpful to us. John Nayland. Where's John? John, I want to say hello. John, there he is. And the same category, Dermot Hogan has always been very supportive of this council. Dermot. Dermot's right here, right here. Yep. I'll be back to introduce the other half of the room in a few minutes. But first, she just arrived. We have a wonderful Consul General in New York, Barbara Jones. So let's give her a warm welcome. And we have, representing the Irish government in New York this week, Heather Humphreys, and she's the Irish Minister for Arts, Heritage, and the Gaeltacht. She was elected to Dáil Éireann in 2011 for the constituency of Cavan Monaghan. Three years later, she was appointed to the Irish Cabinet. And she's bringing us greetings from Ireland. And can we put you on the spot right away, Heather? Come on up.
Okay, well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I just want to say I'm delighted to be here this afternoon. I think I've just made it in the nick of time. I would like to thank Brian Stack, President of the Ireland-U.S. Council, and all of his colleagues on the board and the Council team for gathering us together here on the eve of St. Patrick's Day 2015. As I look around this room, it's very clear here in New York, our National Day is a unique celebration of shared heritage, friendship and connection with Ireland. And I'm honoured to represent the Irish government here at today's gathering in place of my friend and colleague, Charlie Flanagan, whose mother unfortunately passed away on Sunday. I want to assure you of Minister Flanagan's great admiration for the work that the Council does for trade and investment in Ireland and the US, and his intention as Minister with responsibility for foreign trade to step up cooperation for mutual advantage in 2015. Ireland's economic relations with the US have never been stronger. 700 US companies in Ireland employ 130,000 people in world-leading pharmaceuticals, technology and services organisations. US companies have invested over $277 billion in Ireland since 1990. And the output from US companies in Ireland now exceeds $80 billion per year. Yes, it's $80 billion per annum. These statistics are evidence of the success of the Council and its distinguished 50 years in building economic relations between Ireland and the US. You should be very proud of that work, and I would ask you to continue to sustain and develop that relationship. I wish also to extend warmest congratulations to Cardinal Dolan on his appointment as Grand Marshal of the In what is an immensely busy year for the Archdiocese of New York, we are all fortunate that you made the time to lead the celebrations this year, Cardinal. And I'm sure that all of your friends in New York will agree that the Cardinal brings great wisdom to the job as a highly regarded pastor and as a great friend of Ireland. His understanding of and respect for Irish heritage and literature ensures that he will be one of New York's finest ever Grand Marshals. Finally, may I say that I have 3 pieces of very good news from Ireland. Firstly, thanks to the sacrifices of the Irish people, And with the help of the diaspora, our economy is recovering from the economic downturn that engulfed us. In the last 12 months, we have seen solid economic growth, strong investment, and more job creation in Ireland. We had the fastest growing economy in the European Union in 2014, and we expect to stay in that lead position this year. In fact, according to a survey by Bloomberg last month, Ireland is likely to be one of the 20 fastest growing economies in the world this year. Secondly, we are creating more and more new jobs each month. This means unemployment will soon be in single digits, and it means there are opportunities opening up for our young people to come back from abroad. We aim to create 40,000 jobs this year and need your help to do so. A major focus is to create new jobs in the financial services area. We already have a great basis for that industry. Last week, we launched a new 5-year international financial services strategy. IFS 2020 aims to build on Ireland's strength in talent, technology, innovation and excellent client service, and drive further growth for Ireland as a location for specialist international financial services. Thirdly, we are making progress with peace and reconciliation in Ireland by working with all the parties in the North and the British Government. We value the US interest and role in that work of peace and reconciliation and count on it as we resolve differences through politics and dialogue. I would ask you to spread the good economic news here and that you continue to encourage your business associates and friends to visit, to invest and to trade with us. I've appreciated the opportunity to come and speak to you today to honour this year's Grand Marshal of the New York St. Patrick's Day Parade, His Eminence Cardinal Dolan, to build further on the great bonds between our two countries and hopefully to encourage even more of you to get involved in Ireland's success story. I want to thank you warmly for your long-standing support for Ireland, and I would thank you for your continued support for all our work in the year ahead. Gura míle maith give Golair. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back to introduce a few more. I want to thank for today's luncheon and all the help today's luncheon, Eddie Dowling. Eddie, thank you so much. Eddie, right over here. Thank you, Minister, very much for those remarks. Thank you. And we have with us the chairman of the Knights of St. Patrick, a wonderful group that picks up and helps with many of the bills for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. So please welcome Gene McCarthy and his lovely wife, Sheila. Now, when you leave today, the token that was at your place, the token, that's going to give you a goodie bag to take home. And you know, Irish beef now is coming into this country, and yeah, it's a big thing. So we have with us Bill Colbert, the chairman of the company, Tommy Maloney's Meats. And Bill, we want to thank you very much, and we're all going home with Tommy Maloney's Meats. Thank you, Bill. You have to have a token. If you need it, you can see Sullivan. All right, enough. Okay, now we'll be back later. We'll introduce the other half of you. I'm really sorry. We're gonna go on with the entertainment now. We have special entertainment. all the way from Dublin, the best and brightest young talents of Ireland's renowned Royal Academy of Music. And before asking Deborah, no, I'm going to ask Deborah to start to come on up. Deborah's right here. Okay, Deborah Kelleher, and she will introduce these wonderful musicians. I just want to say that the Ireland-U.S. Council has enjoyed a splendid collaboration with the Academy over the years. And we're delighted to announce, as part of our ongoing initiative to promote the arts, and your membership, our Council's membership dollars we've used for that, and we've established the brand new Royal Irish Academy of Music Foundation in the United States. It's a new 501(c)(3) charitable foundation. It has been approved by the U.S. Treasury, and so congratulations to the Academy. And today, the Council is making the first donation to formally open their first ever bank account in America. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Deborah Kelleher.
Thank you. Thank you. Your Eminence Cardinal Dolan, Minister, Consul General Jones, Council members and friends, it's a great pleasure to be here to you today. The Royal Irish Academy of Music is Ireland's premier music conservatoire. To put us in context, we would be known as the Juilliard School of Ireland. Across our 160-year history, we have led in the development of performance music, performance education. Our educational breadth includes over 1 million musicians that have engaged with us on their own terms, from grassroots amateur music makers that engage in our local centre exam system across the island of Ireland, on to the part-time kids who come into us in Westland Road to learn their music instruments with the violin over one shoulder and the football boots over the other, and then on to our graduate students. Those students trained by us for the profession who go on to represent Ireland with distinction on the world stage. And just like our Irish golfers, our boxers and our actors, when an RIAM graduate succeeds for Ireland, it galvanises the nation. We're here in New York for a very special reason. This week is the culmination of 2 years of planning. Having admired them for many years, the Academy has finally engaged formally with the Juilliard School, and we have a performance project that celebrates the great Irish song and poetry of our nation. So we're really excited about this, and over the next 2 years we'll get into this project more and more. I'd like to welcome on the stage now just 3 young singers from the Academy of Music who represent some of the graduate students that are working with us at the moment. They're going to perform for you shortly. Andrew Gavin, tenor from Navan, is going to perform an Ivor Gurney piece that celebrates mothers and spring, called Desire in Spring. Rebecca Coffey is going to celebrate the great Sean-Nós tradition of the Irish ballad, with She Moves Through the Fair. And Peter Manning, who's here in the US for the first time ever, is going to perform She Is Far From the Land, written by Thomas Moore in memory of his great friend, Robert Emmet. As was said, the Academy is in a really exciting place at the moment. We have burst through the barrier and become a recognised international institution with partnerships such as the Juilliard and the consultation we're doing in Malaysia to develop music schools based on our methodology and curricula. But we've come to the conclusion that now, for the next phase in our lives, our buildings on Westland Row simply must reflect the standing and mission of the institution. So we've engaged in a major capital campaign to redevelop our historic buildings on Westland Row. One of our major donors has said that this is not just important for music in Dublin, but it's important for Ireland that we have such iconic buildings to represent what we do so wonderfully in the arts. So we have our US Foundation, with great thanks to the Ireland-U.S. Council, and I would like to give a personal thanks to Bill Stack, to David O'Sullivan and to Bill McNally, who have come on our board as council members. We have a significant and growing benefactor list in Ireland, and I have no doubt that between these friends and the friends we will make in America, that by 2020 I'm going to be standing here and celebrating a new building that will bring the Academy from being just Ireland's premier music conservatory to being Ireland's world-class music conservatory, and that is my dream. And now, I think I will let the music of our great nation just speak for itself.
I love the cradle songs the mothers sing in lonely places when the twilight drops. The slow endearing melodies that bring sleep to the weeping lids. And when she stops, I love the roadside birds upon the tops of dusty hedges in a world of spring. And when the sunny rain drips from the edge of midday wind and meadows lean one way, and a long whisper passes through the sedge beside the broken water, let me stay. While these old airs upon my memory play, and silent changes color up the hedge.
My young love said to me, my mother won't mind, and my father won't slight you for your lack of kind. And she stepped away from me, and this she did say, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day. She stepped away from me, and she moved through the fair, and fondly I watched her move here and move there, and slowly she came that her feet made no din, as the swan in the evening moves over the lake. I dreamt it last night that my true love came in. So softly she came that her feet made no din. She came close beside me, and this she did say, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day.
She is far from the land where her young hero sleeps, and lovers around her are sighing. But coldly she turns from their gaze and weeps. From her heart in his grave is lying. sings the wild songs of her dear native plains, every note which he loved awaking. A little they think who delight in her strains, how the heart of the minstrel is breaking. He had lived for his love, for his country he died. They were all that to life had entwined him. Nor soon shall the tears of his country be dried, nor long will his love stay behind him, nor long will his love stay behind him. Oh, make her a grave where the sunbeams rest, where they promise a glorious morrow. They'll shine o'er her sleep like a smile from the west. How her own loved island of sorrow. Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. It's I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so.
And when ye come, and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead, as dead I may well be, ye come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me, and I shall hear the soft dew tread above me, and all my grace
Thank you very much. That was just fantastic. Just a couple of quick things. First of all, I want to welcome my colleagues from CIE Tours International and our guests from Shannon. Very welcome. Thank you very much for being here. Our sponsors of this lunch, Aer Lingus, and it's wonderful to see those seats. I hope I get a chance to sample them sometime. But they look absolutely fantastic. I want to thank all of you for being here, particularly His Eminence Cardinal Dolan. What an incredible honor it was for us to have him here. And lastly, you never think of governments being nimble, but all praise to the Irish government for the change. When Minister Flanagan couldn't make it, we end up with Minister Humphreys steps in at the last minute. So thank you so much, Minister, for being here. And I'm sure the great Consul General in New York, Barbara Jones, had an awful lot to do with that. So Barbara, thank you very much for everything you've done. And thank you all for being here to celebrate St. Patrick's lunch with us, and I look forward to seeing you all again shortly. Thanks a million. Safe home, everybody.